Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to work on a little small copycat recipe. It's a copycat Taco Bell quesadilla recipe. So what you need to do is go ahead and get your chicken breast, because it's going to be a chicken quesadilla. You need to get those cooking. I'm actually making more than what the recipe calls for, so you need to pay attention to that when you make the recipe. But I'm going to go ahead and cook 3 big chicken breasts. I have salt and peppered both sides, and I'm just cooking them in a little bit of oil until they're done. And then as soon as it's finished, we're going to move on to the sauce ingredients, and we're going to mix all that up, and I'm going to show you hopefully how to, copycat this quesadilla recipe from Taco Bell. Alright, I'll be back with you as soon as I get this cooked. Okay, y'all, so let's focus on making the sauce real quick. Alright, you're going to need 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I've already got that in there. And we're going to work on our dry ingredients first, and then we'll put the rest of our wet ingredients in. So, we're going to need about, this is going to be kind of hard to do, 2/3 of a teaspoon of sugar. This recipe has some odd measurements. So I put in a little less than half of a teaspoon of sugar. Alright, so then we're going to go with our cumin, which is 1/2 teaspoon. Our paprika, which is also 1/2. Got that. Cayenne pepper, which is 1/8. So I'm going to use 1/2 of a 1/4. We don't want too much of that. Okay. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Alright, doesn't have to be precise, but get as close as you can. Dash of salt. Then we're done with that. We need 2 teaspoons of pickled jalapenos, chopped or minced. And I just chopped them, but you can mince them, it's fine. There's 1. And 2. And you're going to also need 2 teaspoons of the juice from pickled jalapenos. And give me a second and I'll show you the brand I absolutely love. This is my favorite. You can see it, Trappies. It's my favorite. They have a little bit of a crunch to them, and I like that. Alright, so mix all this up. This is going to go on the inside, I believe, of your quesadilla. Okay, so I'm going to let y'all just hang out and wait, and then I will be right back because my chicken is still cooking. Those were pretty big chicken breasts. And I'll show you what to do next. Okay, y'all, so we're ready for assembly. I already got the chicken sliced up. This is it right here. You need to slice it as thin as possible. So I was able to get it pretty thin. So you get that as thin as possible. Set that aside. Now we're working on a hot skillet here. I'm going to use a burrito style or sized tortilla. You do not have to do that. You just have to adjust how much you're going to use. Okay, so the recipe calls for some Mexican cheese or a Mexican blend, and that's what I'm using. I believe, though, you can use a mix of cheddar Monterey. I got this one from Aldi, so just like a Fiesta blend or a Mexican blend. On one side of the tortilla, you're going to put just a little bit of shredded cheese. And then half of your American cheese, then a little bit of your chicken. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the sauce here. And this is all on a hot skillet. So, as you can see, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the cheese is already starting to melt. Okay, we'll put it just a little bit more chicken in there. Alright. Alright, so we're going to take this portion, we're going to fold it over, and I'm just going to kind of mash everything together. And that's it, y'all. So apparently the secret to this whole thing is that sauce. Alright, so we're going to let this cook or heat up until that cheese is hot and bubbly. Now our shredded is already melted. I'm going to try to flip this without making a mess. We're just going to continue on. So you can leave out the American cheese. I just did it for the sake of the video, and I'll probably not do any more with the American cheese, but you can also play with this a little bit to get it to your liking. Alright, so let me finish cooking this and getting this done. Just a few minutes on each side till everything's hot and bubbly, and then you can plate it and serve it. So let me get all that done and cut into this so you can see the center. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. I cut them into diagonals or triangles, whichever, and I decided that I would make a little small dip for them. So I'm just going to take a little bit of sour cream and sriracha and just make a little dip. You can also use salsa and do this, just something to dip them in. You don't have to do it, but it's a real inexpensive way to kind of add to it. You can also serve a salad on the side, or maybe some tortilla chips and salsa. That would be good too. But I've already tasted it. It tastes really, really good. It's a little bit spicy, so you can, of course, leave out the chopped or minced jalapenos and just put the juice in there, just to kind of give it a little bit of spice, but not too much. But yeah, that's it. Tastes really good. Tastes like the real thing. Today we are going to make some shrimp and broccoli, and I'm going to serve it over rice. But first we need to get our shrimp marinating. So we need to make our little sauce that goes with it and get that in the fridge. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our sauce. You're going to need a half a cup of honey. And you can spray your measuring cup with cooking spray, or Pam as some people call it, so that your honey will come out easy. So we got that. We need a quarter of a cup of soy sauce as well. Okay, and I've got my whisk so that I can whisk everything together. You can use fresh garlic, or you can use garlic powder. So I'm just going to use some garlic powder. We're going to need about 3 teaspoons. That, and you need about 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger. And a pinch of red pepper flakes. And a quarter of a teaspoon. You need to mix all this together. And you're not going to put all of this on the shrimp. You're just going to measure out some. put on the shrimp as a marinade. We need to reserve the rest. Okay. Now, I am only supposed to be using about a pound of raw shrimp. I got this at Aldi's. It was raw shrimp, peeled, deveined, and tails removed. These are medium. I usually prefer a large, but they didn't have it. They had either medium or jumbo, but jumbo was way too big. So because we're doing medium, we got 2 bags worth that total up to be about 24 ounces instead of just 16 ounces. So I put a little extra in there because I couldn't find large. And you need to reserve the rest of your sauce. So all we're gonna need is about 1/4 cup. For the shrimp. So I didn't adjust the sauce amounts or anything. I just added extra meat, if that makes sense. All right, so stick this in the fridge for about 30 minutes so all the flavors can come together, and then you're gonna meet me back here with some steamed broccoli and we'll finish out the recipe. I'll see you back here in a half hour. Okay, y'all, so you need to take your shrimp out of the fridge and go ahead and get you a skillet that's hot with a tablespoon of butter, and then we're going to add the shrimp to it. And you'll cook the shrimp until it turns pink, and then immediately get it out. Set it off to the side, and you're going to drain your liquid, but I'll remind you of that in a minute. So I've got this on medium-high heat, waiting for it to heat up. Try to spread it out the best you can, that way it can cook evenly. This will turn to rubber if you've never cooked shrimp, so you need to like kind of be watching it, make sure that as soon as it turns pink, you remove it, and then we'll cook I've already steamed our broccoli. You can use fresh, but I went ahead and steamed it because I didn't want to use fresh. Sometimes you can't get fresh, or if you do, it doesn't look that great in the produce department. So I just went ahead and got some frozen, steamed it, so you can use that if you want to. And like I said, this also was not fresh shrimp. This was frozen shrimp. I just defrosted it first. You need to defrost it completely before you use it. And you can always defrost it by putting it in cold water and then, you know, let some of that melt away, then refilling it, and just keep doing it until it's all defrosted. Don't ever use hot water because you'll actually cook it. So keep this in your pan until it starts to turn pink, and then start to remove it, and then I'll come right back to you. Okay, y'all, so I've removed my shrimp. This is the shrimp. I've removed it. I drained the excess liquid that was in the pan, drained that. And now we're going to add our 2nd tablespoon of butter. And while that is melting, you need to get 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and add to your sauce, your remaining sauce. Okay, so right here, I'm adding that, mixing it together. Now, we have already steamed our broccoli, so we're not even having to crisp it up. We're just throwing it in the pan. It was one of those steam in the bag kind of situations. Alright, so once this is hot, I only did 1 bag of broccoli florets, and then once they were steamed, I took them out, drained them, and then kind of like just chop them just a little bit. So I'm going to put this in here, and we're going to just kind of warm it up just a little bit. Get that butter on them because it's already cooked. Doesn't need cooked. I'm going to cut my heat down just a little bit because it's a little bit too high. Alright, now I'm going to add my sauce. And stir it. Now, when the sauce begins to thicken just a little bit, we're just going to mix the shrimp in. Let it warm up just for a few minutes, and it's done. You can serve this over some sort of noodles. Chinese noodles, ramen noodles, spaghetti noodles, if that's all you have, or rice, or you can eat it on its own. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's starting to thicken up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add my shrimp back in. And the shrimp is already cooked, so all we're trying to do is warm everything up and let that sauce thicken just a little. If you want to, you can wait just a few more minutes, let it thicken up some more. But it's basically done. And I'm just going to serve this over rice, like I said. But you could literally serve it over anything or just leave it like it is. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make an orzo dish. We've never tried that before that we know of. And so I bought some orzo online because I couldn't find any locally in a big container this way. That way I could have it on hand at all times. For those of you not familiar with orzo, it is a pasta that looks like rice. So this is called tomato ground turkey orzo. So what you need to do is put a little bit of oil in the pan and chop up an onion and 3 cloves of garlic. And we're going to cook this for a little while until it's translucent, just a few minutes. We'll turn the heat up a little, and then we're going to put our turkey in and cook it. This is like a big one-pan jump-and-go kind of dish, so shouldn't be hard at all to make. It's going to take us total about 25 minutes. That includes prep time to get this put together, and hopefully it's going to be good. Alright, I'll see you back here in just a few. Let me cook this up. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and add the ground turkey. And we're going to have to break this up with a spoon. Cooking spoon, spatula. Combine it with your onions and your garlic. And turkey normally doesn't take long to cook, so give me a few more minutes and I will be right back with you. Okay, y'all. So I'm ready to put together my little concoction that's supposed to go in with this. So you're gonna need about 14-ounce can of tomato sauce. Aldi's only had the small cans, so I had to get 2 small cans, but that should be enough for what we're doing. Alright, the next thing that we're going to need is our water, which is 3/4 cup, because we're going to cook our orzo in this. So, let me get a whisk. Okay. Mix all this up. All right, so the next thing you're going to need is about a cup of heavy cream. You can also use milk or half and half as well. May not thicken as like you like, but you can do that. All right, and then our Italian seasoning. And I think I only need about a teaspoon. So there's that. You need about a half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper. So 3 generous dashes should get it. All right. And our last step is the orzo. Hang on just a second. You're going to put 1 cup of uncooked orzo in here. And we're going to slowly simmer this until we bring it to a very gentle boil. And then we're going to reduce the heat and let it simmer. I want to wait just a few minutes before I put the meat in. We will add the meat back, but I want to wait just a few minutes, let this get a head start first. So it's going to take just a couple of minutes to bring to a gentle boil, and then you're going to simmer it after that. And you will have to stir it frequently, so keep that in mind. And we're just going to cook it till the orzo's done, so it's going to be roughly about 10 minutes. So medium-high heat, about 10 minutes or so until that orzo is done. And then we'll add back the turkey. But I'm gonna try to do it right before it gets done. We're gonna add the turkey because I kind of want it to all mesh together. It's already trying to boil, y'all. That little gentle boil. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I'll be right back with you. Okay, y'all, it's starting to bubble, just barely. I've cut my heat back because we need to let it simmer now. I'm gonna go ahead and add my meat back in. I drained it, so you do need to drain off any of the oil or grease that had accumulated. And then you can add it back to your orzo mixture. And then we're just gonna stir frequently. We're just going to let this simmer so the orzo can get cooked and your sauce can heat up. All right, 7 to 10 minutes or so now. See you back here in a few. Okay, y'all, it did take a little bit more than 10 minutes. I would say maybe closer to 15, but I got it done. Now, you need to take you a couple of handfuls of some spinach and stir that in. And it should wilt the spinach. Shouldn't have to cook it or anything like that. So I'm just going to add that. And make sure while you're doing this that you have already taken it off the heat. Try to get this mixed in. You're also going to need about, about a half a cup or so of Parmesan cheese, and you're going to stir that in as well. And after I stir all this in, I'm going to cover with my lid and just let it sit here and steam a little bit and melt cheese, steam the spinach, and it's ready to serve. Really nutritious, It did cost me a little bit more. I went on Amazon and bought that big container of orzo for like $5. But that's going to last me several meals. And I just got plain orzo. That way I could use it with whatever recipe that I'm doing at the moment. Okay, y'all. So let me get my lid. And you're going to set this on here for about 3 minutes and let it steam. And then you'll be all done. I will come right back and show you the finished product. Okay, y'all. Finished product. It's ready to serve. Nice and cheesy with our parm. And our spinach has wilted just like it's supposed to. I may add a little bit extra, but spinach, but I think we're good. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make some beef and broccoli stir fry. You're going to need a flank steak or a skirt steak cut into strips, just like this, small or as thin as you can get. We're going to take about a half a cup of cornstarch. We're going to massage it into it. We're going to try to coat each piece, but we're gonna have a hard time, y'all. We're just gonna do the best we can. That's why I just decided to put some gloves on and get into it. Okay. Now, I've already got my skillet heating up with my grease, and most likely you're gonna have to do this in batches. It's supposed to be about a pound and a half. This is probably closer to 2 pounds or a little bit over. I tried to get the biggest one I could find. I finally was able to find it at Aldi's. I couldn't find it at Walmart, which is usually my go-to. Even the higher end grocery stores a lot of times may not have it. So you're looking for a flank steak or a skirt steak. They're basically the same. Okay. And we're going to head on over to the skillet to my left. And we're going to get started. Some of the things in the recipe, I'm going to shortcut my way through. Like, we're not going to use fresh broccoli. We're just going to use some steamed broccoli out of the microwave. But you are more than welcome to do it how the recipe states. Of course, you know this. And the recipe kind of separates it all out, so it's easier. It makes it easier for you to do it your own way. I like it when y'all do things your own way. You need to make some of this stuff your own and quit being afraid. Because some of the things you can change to fit your lifestyle. All right, y'all. Let's get this grease hot and head on over to the skillet. Okay, y'all. So, last batch of this is pretty much done. Set it aside. We are going to get another bowl ready here. I'm sorry if that's too bright. You need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water in a bowl. And you need to kind of whisk it until it's not lumpy anymore. And then we need to start adding our different ingredients so we can make the sauce. You're going to need a half a cup of soy sauce. And you're going to add it to that cornstarch and water. I'm trying to hurry, y'all. Alright, there we go. So you're going to need half a cup of that. You're going to need half a cup of beef broth. And I just put together some in, oops, I knew I was going to make a mess. A coffee cup in the microwave. I'll get that up in a minute. Let me put a little smidge in there. Okay. Let's see. 1/4 of a cup. Hold on, 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Get that ready. Now for the broccoli, I've just steamed them in the microwave, and then I'm just going to add them to the skillet. We just need 1/4 of a cup of that. 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I'm just going to mix it all up. All right. We need our minced garlic, 3 cloves worth, which is roughly about 3 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm trying to wipe off my measuring spoon so I don't make a mess. So 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, the best tasting stuff ever. And about a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay. Alrighty. So I would drain this, but I think what I'm going to do is grab a paper towel real quick and I'm going to get some of this grease out. Just hang on just a second. Okay, y'all. So I went ahead and took the beef out. I went ahead and drained everything. Took the beef out, set it aside. Put the broccoli in that I've already steamed. And of course, it's not completely steamed through, which is perfect because I need this to kind of cook a little bit in the skillet. So you're going to put your sauce that you just made in over the broccoli. And then we're going to cook it down just a little bit. And we're going to give this time to thicken. And then after that, we're going to add our beef back to it. And we're done. It's real quick stir fry. I've got this on high heat to kind of speed it along a little bit, but I'm going to have to stay close by to make sure that it doesn't scorch or burn. So and you don't want it to stick either. So it's going to get to that point. So just keep an eye on it and stir occasionally, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, y'all. So it thickened up pretty well. I have it where it's still just a little bit soupy, but a little bit thick. I kind of want it, you know, just barely thickened. And then we're going to put the beef back in, trying to avoid as much residual grease that I did not drain off. Try to avoid adding that back. I have about a half teaspoon, and I did not want to add that back in. So we're going to be able to have Asian at home without having to get takeout. I've got some sesame seeds that I can sprinkle on top. I bought some egg rolls, and we're going to have those. And I also got some little crunchy chow mein noodles. My kids love those. And we're going to sprinkle those on top too. But that's it. It's a one pan situation. Except for, you know, my rice. I got to get my rice ready. But we do parboiled, and it turns out perfect every time. But it turned out great. Let me see if I can show you. Looks really yummy. You can also add less meat and more vegetable if you would like. Or you can change the vegetable up. It doesn't have to be broccoli. You can change it to something else. If you have fresh vegetables, you need to kind of saute those first, then add them in. And if you have frozen, then you'll have to at least steam them. You could boil them if you wanted to, but at least steam them, and should turn out great. And you can also change the meat as well, like maybe to shrimp, but I would put chicken broth in it instead of beef. but or even a vegetable broth. But hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make a taco salad, but it's going to be a little bit different. This is a chicken taco salad, and I'm following the recipe except for just a few things. I went ahead and cooked my chicken and tore it up into pieces, shredded it. You can chop it, just whatever. It could be rotisserie chicken, or it could be some that you just decided to cook. These were chicken breasts. I used one small one and one big one. And I'm going to put a pack of taco seasoning in here. And I'm going to add another pack, but on this one I'm gonna have to reserve about 2 tablespoons worth, so I'm just gonna try to eyeball that, make sure that I save about 2 tablespoons worth. Alright, and then I need to take some water and put in here, and we are going to flavor our chicken breast just a little bit before we add it to the salad. I've already got everything chopped and ready. But I felt like this needed just a little bit more flavor. So we are going to cook this until it's boiling. And then we're going to pour the liquid off. And then we'll use our seasoned taco meat. Alright. Now, while this is simmering and coming to a boil, I'm going to show you the dressing for this taco salad. And it's really, really simple. Make sure I got everything I need. And then let me check and make sure that y'all can see. Yeah, okay. So, you're gonna need a cup's worth of ranch dressing. About a cup. We use Ken's Steakhouse as our favorite, but you can use anything. And then you're going to take your 2 tablespoons of reserved taco seasoning, and we're just going to whisk that in. And this will be your dressing for your salad. So it is a little bit different than the traditional taco salad. This was in the recipe. This is not something that I added. The only other change that I'm going to make is I'm going to leave out the corn. We don't put corn in our salads. If you want to leave it in, that is perfectly up to you. Alright, so now we're going to go back over here. Stir this around a little bit more. So what you're going to need to do is bring this to a boil. You're going to drain the liquid off, and then you're going to let this cool down before we add it to the salad so it doesn't wilt anything or cause any issues. And then I will meet y'all back here for assembly. So cook till boiling, drain this off, cool it down, and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. So it's time to go ahead and prep the salad. I've got here approximately 8 to 10 cups of sliced romaine lettuce. Probably could use iceberg, but since we're going to be putting the dressing on this, it will hold up a little bit better, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put all of our ingredients in first, toss the salad, and try to mix everything up, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. So I have some grape tomatoes sliced. Recipe calls for cherry tomatoes, but they didn't look so great, so we're using some sliced, halved, not sliced, halved grape tomatoes. You also need to add At this point, you would add your corn, but we're not going to be doing that. You also need to add 1/4 of a cup of chopped red onion. I'll put a little extra in there. Okay. And I had already chopped that to begin with. 4 chopped green onions. And we are going to mix all this up. Black beans, I just opened a can and rinsed them. I'm just going to put the whole can in. Should be about 1.5 cups, so really close. And 1/2 cup of cheddar. Oops. And we'll put just a little bit extra. And if you want any cilantro, you can add that. I'm trying to see what we're going to use to do this. Hopefully I won't make a mess. You know what? I'm just going to use my hands. So mix it all up in there. Should have got a bigger bowl. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try to put some of those colorful tomatoes at the top. All right. Now, I want to go ahead and put our dressing in there. I'm going to drizzle, try to drizzle that best we can, and we're going to mix this in. This was our, make sure y'all can see, this was our ranch dressing and taco seasoning mixed together. And hopefully it won't make a huge mess. And try to lightly fold this in. Okay. All right, now our chicken. We're just going to mix all that in. Wash my hands a little bit. And it wasn't cooled all the way. I couldn't wait anymore. I am starving, y'all. Okay. So this could be used as a side salad or a lunch. Or you could even have it as a dinner. We're supposed to have it as a dinner. Okay. All right. All right, so all combined. Now we are going to sprinkle a little bit of lime. Ooh. I wasn't supposed to do that. So we'll have to mix that in. That was a big mess up. A couple tablespoons of lime. Not that much, or a couple teaspoons. But it'll be fine. The salad is huge. I forgot it didn't have a lid on it where I could pour it out properly. Okay. One more addition. I found these in the produce department at store I was shopping at. And you're just sprinkle all this on top. And it's going to provide a little bit of crunch. Okay, y'all. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.